Hi, it's Sandra here from Create in Spain, and this is number 20 at the moment of the video series on polymer stamp making at home. If you are interested in polymer stamp making, please watch the previous videos. Anything which is labelled VX55 onwards, and I think that's probably something like video 15 or something like that, we'll be using this particular photo polymer. Now, I did get this sent to me and I didn't have to pay for it, but the reason they sent it to me is because I normally buy their photo polymers, and this one is not available in Spain where I am. However, the one I buy in Spain is not available in the rest of the world. So in order to try and give you some time guidelines and some procedural guidelines, they very happily sent me this one to test out and review. I will never, ever do a review on something and give it a favourable review just because it's been sent to me. Okay, so the gel works just fine. What I wanted to do in this video is to give you some timing guidelines. Now, if you're serious in the idea of making the stamps, please watch all the videos that I have done from the one with VX55 onwards for photopolymers, because it will tell you every detail that you need to know about the lamps, the UV lamps, the UV LED lamps, the sandwich that you make up, the materials that I use, everything. I am not going to be answering questions on where do I get the gel. I've already answered it. Where do you get lamps? You can get them on Amazon easily. Or anything else like that, because I've answered those questions already. Okay, so if you need the information, watch the videos. Read the comments, read the information boxes, and you will find the information there. Okay, so having said that, one of the most important things when you do this is to have some kind of notebook to write down your results, because if you don't, you'll get completely confused over what you did when and how you did it. Now, I have a sheet here which I have basically made some stamps, noted down the times, and the most common setting for my setup, which is with UV LED lamps, not UV lamps, just UV LED ones, is 30 seconds on the back and 2 minutes on the front. And basically everything in between there and there is done on those timings, except for this one, which I put in, which I put in the wrong place. And that one should have been under the 1:30 bit, hence the arrow. But most of those have been done with 30 seconds plus 2 minutes. And that probably means that the majority of the designs that you want to do, if you're doing normal sort of clip art designs and lettering and all that sort of thing, will be under that time scale. Now these here, these very tiny, very fine, you can see those, very, very fine snowflakes. Those were done with 30 seconds and 2 minutes 30. So it's 30 seconds on the back and 2 minutes 30 on the design side. Now this is with the bulbs facing out towards the outside of the lamp, not shining directly into the center of the lamp. If you have LED lights in one of the big lamps where you have a choice as to which way they face, then you need to face them facing out. If you have them facing in, the curing time is so fast, you're going to really struggle to get it right. If you have one of the tiny little lamps for doing your nails, you'll be able to do these still, but you would need to make sure that they were placed directly under the LED lights, and a lot of them have lights at the back but don't have so many at the front, so if you're trying to do something bigger you won't be able to do it. And I did do one video on that very subject, so it's couple of videos back. You can see that. So the last lot of stamps, these here, where they've got quite a lot of solid, particularly something like that, where, hold that up, you can see the design. Okay, that's got a lot of printable area, and if you're going to get that much printable area, you need to take the time down on the front. So 30 seconds plus 1 minute 30 would do that. This one here, which I've put in here, and any mistakes on the stamping are purely my mistakes, it's not the stamp itself. This one could probably be done either with the 2 minutes or the 1:30. You probably get away with either because there's enough solid and enough gaps in it. Now this one here was a little bit tricky because the design, if I turf it out here, I'll show you the design. It's got this wide swathe which is basically solid, but it's got a few tiny little holes in it, and it's got some very little bits that stick out on the outside. If I gave that too long, you would end up losing all the definition, but if you don't give it long enough, you lose these little bits here. So with that one, 30 seconds and 1 minute 40 was a better time. I got more definition. So something like that is a little more difficult. Now, this one here, the With Love, as you can see, and it did stamp perfectly elsewhere, it's just my stamping on here that's at fault. With this one, you can see I've got very fine lines and I've got thicker lines, but it was still able to cope with it quite happily at 30 seconds and 2 minutes on the front. And it didn't lose any bits, it even got the dot over the eye. But if you're going to do a design where you've got some very small print and then some very large print, for example, or a very fine script and then a very chunky script, there is a video back which I will try and find the link to and link it to show you how to cope with the variation that you've got there. So you do need digital timers, and when it goes off, you need to stop that lamp, okay? Don't think, oh, it's gone off, I'll just walk across the room and stop the lamp. That's not good enough. You need to be there with your finger on the button to press that button to stop your lamp, okay? It's that precise. The printing I do on a laser printer onto tracing paper, you can see through it. You can probably see my finger through there, but it still works just fine. And I think that's probably the cheapest way to do the prints. That's what it is. Basically 30 seconds and 2 minutes. More if you have a very fine design, less if you have something which has got a lot of print to come out of it. Right, so I wanted to talk to you a little bit about over-curing and under-curing. Now this leaf would look to be almost right, but if I bend over, you can see that one of the veins is actually not attached to the back. So that is an example of under-curing. Now in this particular case, the back is definitely over-cured, and it's the front which is under-cured. So basically on this one, the back time was way too high and the front time wasn't high enough. Now if there were gel there to be washed away at the time, then the chances are the overall time is okay. So it's just the way that it's split that might need to be altered. Now this was one of the first ones that I did, and I honestly can't remember what timing I did on this. But this would normally come out fine if I had done 30 seconds on the back and 2 minutes on the front. That would have been perfect. I obviously didn't do that timing on this, and as such the stamp isn't a good one. Right, in the bin. This is one where it's been done properly. You've got a good relief, and nothing is tearing away from the back, and that will stamp perfectly. Now, on the other scale of things, we have this one here, and it's probably difficult for you to see, but it has lost an awful lot of its detail, and this has been over cured on the front. The back is fine. It's got a decent back on it. It's not too thick, it's not too thin, but it's had too much time on the front. And so all the delicate pattern that I should have, a lot of it isn't really there. And this is the same thing when it's done properly. And now you can see all the detail in that stamp. Now that is the difference that 30 seconds or even 15 seconds sometimes can make. So this one is cured properly, and this one had 30 seconds and 2 minutes. And this one had 30 seconds and 2 minutes 30. So there is the difference. This one stamps absolutely brilliantly, and you get all that beautiful detail in your stamp. Okay, that's it. I hope you've enjoyed this series, and I hope you have lots of fun with your stamp making. I certainly do. But now I think I've probably done so much stamp making over the last couple of days, I probably won't do any for about another 6 months. Thanks for watching. Take care now. Bye bye.